Hi, class. Today we're going to just kind of dive in a little bit deeper to Chapter 2. And in Chapter 2, you're looking at the managerial steps, the managerial processes as a sport manager, as well as sport governance and how those two relate to each other. So we're not going to go through the whole PowerPoint. On your screen, you can see the PowerPoint. I'm focusing on the steps in the planning process here. The development of a SWOT analysis chart, you looking at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If you scroll on down, you see that part of the planning process in the mind of a sport manager, as well as sport governance, is the creation and revamping of the vision statements within a sport organization, the mission statements, establishing objectives, goals and objectives. Tactics and roles, who's going to complete these jobs that you're creating, decision making, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, implementing a course of action, and then a very important step is evaluating the plan to see if it's working, and if it's not, you revisit that and you make changes as needed. So that's kind of what we're going to look at today. So I found a couple neat things. Bear with me just for a second. And one, I put this link on D2L. It's a rather lengthy document, but we're looking at sport governance and how you apply this planning. And I thought this was just a great document, the Olympic agenda of 2020, and some different recommendations and changes. And this was created by the IOC president and let me get down to where I want. All right, so I'm just going to scroll through a few of these things. I found some interesting stuff that I think is very applicable when you're reading through your Chapter 2 and then trying to wrap your mind about how all of this kind of works together from the sport management side of things, as well, again, the sport governance side. This is a speech by the president, Thomas Bach, of the Olympic Committee. And so this has sport governance written all over it. He's talking here about inspiring change only if you're ready to change yourself. So talking about their board and their committees and everybody being on board with some change that needs to occur. They were very successful here, he says, with the Olympic Games in 2012 and 2014. Before that, a couple of the Olympic Games ended up with deficits. And so the planning part, which is what we're focusing on right now, just wasn't there. And when planning and organizing those skills aren't strong and aren't important, then you see the billions of dollars or euro dollars in deficit. Well, you didn't get that in 2012 and 2014. So he's saying here, we are enjoying the financial stability. We redistribute more than 90% of our revenues to sport as well as athletes, right? So they're doing good. He's saying, but we are successful, and success is the best reason for change. Well, this is interesting stuff, okay? So just try to wrap your mind around, as you read through this whole document, try to have that sport governance mindset of the importance of planning, something of the magnitude of the Olympics. Again, there's some really neat information in here as far as planning and the importance of change and the importance of implementing change, which is only a result of planning. So I want you to look through that one in more detail. Now let's go on a smaller scale, okay, with large scale of the Olympics. Now let's go on a smaller scale, and here you're looking at the Tennessee Wrestling Federation, okay? And I have pulled up their mission statement, and so part of the planning process in sport governance is those vision statements, mission statements, goals and objectives. And you can see here where this is occurring. You can read through their mission statement, and then you go to About Us, and then you can actually see the leadership, the Tennessee Wrestling Federation leadership. You can see some of the different sport governing positions, and you can go on here and read more in depth about each of the leadership members. And then if you just look from a sport government's mindset, just look at the website. and this is small scale. Look at all the planning that has to be in place. You're talking about organizing teams and schedules and camps and officials and pictures and awards, and the list goes on and on. So I just wanted to spend a couple minutes as you go through this chapter, and I wanted to pull out some specific examples to show you the importance of planning and organizing, the importance of all four of these managerial functions, but really honing in on the planning and organizing aspects. And so I want you to read through chapter 2. I want you to look through the PowerPoint, and hopefully this video was